You are listening to a piece of the Salasin.10 podcast area. You are listening to a piece of the Salasin.10 podcast area.
Yep. Start the audio recorder.
Okay, so I think let's start with let's open with prayer. All right, looks like we have a pretty cool attendance today. First virtual meetup of the year. So first of all, thank you very much for everyone for making it tonight. I'm Arun, City Director for FaithTech KL, together with Nicholas,
Yes.
who is named Salosin.10.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm using my other login again. I'll make sure I use my proper login next time.
So Salosin is just a quick trivia. Salosin is actually the favorite of Nicholas. So just in case you're wondering. All right. So before we start, let's just break the ice a bit. Maybe we can have a round table of a very quick introduction. Just say your name, where you're from, as in what you do, and then one thing that you want to achieve in 2021. And I can start with myself, I guess. I'm Arun. I work in Muda.my as a product manager. I'm also running FaithTech KL with Nicholas. And the one thing that I want to achieve in 2021 is to go back to the way I looked like in 2012.
Okay.
In terms of weight loss, yeah. So
Okay.
try to get healthy, yeah.
It took a while for that to sync. Alright.
All right, and I would nominate someone. So I would nominate Joanne. So after you say that, just nominate the next person what you see on screen.
Okay, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Jo. Short for Joanne, but everyone calls me Jo. I work for a church called Kingdom City, and I've been there for a year, just before the big lockdown, and I look after all the commercial revenue driving activities. So a lot of stuff is actually online, so it's just a nice time for me, I guess. What I want to achieve this year, I'm with you, Aaron. I also want to look back maybe 20 years back, not 10 years, not 9 years.
Cool.
I would nominate Kenneth.
Hi everyone, I'm new here. I'm Kenneth. I work for IFES. What I want to achieve this year, last year I had lots of budget cuts for all the projects that I was supposed to do. So this year I hope that I can at least get some budgets to continue on doing some of the projects that are crucial for me to complete this year.
Nice.
Okay, next person, Aaron.
Aaron Yap or Aaron Ko?
Aaron, yep.
I am Aaron here. I used to work for Grace Assembly, PJ. Now I'm running an e-commerce store on coffee. And this year I hope to expand internationally. Looking forward to drive sales and marketing for this year and start a new brand perhaps.
Yeah, all the best there. It's pretty saturated. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I nominate Kuprit.
Hey guys, my name is Gurpreet. Hey Arun, good to see you, man.
Good to see you, bro.
So I work at a church. I work in the local church that I serve in. It's called Harvest KL, Harvest Bible Chapel KL in Jalan Ampang. What I do is I do operations. I do the discipleship stuff as well as outreach, so taking care of the community internally as well as externally. And what I want to achieve this year is to find ways to add value wherever I can, as well as kind of grow and stretch myself a bit to learn something new. So that's sort of what I'm trying to achieve this year. I'm going to pick Lukman.
Hi there, I'm Lukman Hakim. So I'm from Bandar Baru Bagi.
and I'm doing my. And what I want to achieve this year is I want to be more big and muscular. Yeah.
Bro, you seem very muscular already.
Really lah. No lah. One day. God will.
Cool. Lukman, you're gonna nominate someone to go next.
Finehas Matches. Can you hear me? Finehas, how to?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's Phineas Matthews. Yeah, but you did well. That was a good try for the first time. Yeah, it's actually surreal to see Arius, but he used to be my colleague as well, but that's a long story. My name is Phineas, and I serve at my local church over in Taipei, and I've been serving full-time for the last 14 years in my role as associate pastor. But I also work with the district of the Assemblies of God, so in the position of treasurer. And so basically I hold the big bucks for the district for my movement. So that's a little bit of a background where I come from and what I've been doing.
And what do you hope to achieve this year?
Not quite Lukman, because he says he wants to be big like Hulk and all that. I think I want to be healthy, and hopefully CMCO allows for us ministers to be able to do a little bit of ministry apart from online services, because that is a little bit of a frustrating thing for most of us. But yeah, we just want to be healthy and get through the year 2021.
Cool. And you gotta pick someone, bro.
Okay. Let me see. Who shall I nominate? Who's joining in call? I nominate David Sui. Are you on call? Mr. David?
David? David still left. I think his connection issues.
Yeah, I
Just
think
pick
he
someone
dropped
else
off.
lah.
Okay.
Bit weird.
Jacqueline Lai.
Hello. Yes, I am working at Leaderonomics, which is where a few of us were working from. Yeah, I'm still there. My goal this year is to do more art stuff or my personal projects, and I'll nominate the next Leaderonomers for this one.
My name is Lei. Currently part-time with drum mix, also because primarily I caregive my mama at home, so I'm a remote worker. What I hope to achieve this year, I hope to be a better and better at crochet. Yeah, I just picked up crochet, so hope to pick up better at it. Yeah, I nominate Mark Raj.
Hi everyone, I'm Mark. I'm new here. My name is Mark, and I work with the income tax department. I was in the ministry before, so I used to work in FES Malaysia. So, but now it's been 3 years in income tax, and one thing that I want to do is to read more books this year. Last year I started off with this aim to read one book a week, which kind of didn't take off very well. So I want to continue to do that this year, but with different genres. Thank you. I'd like to nominate David. Is David in?
Hi. Yeah. My name is David. What am I supposed to do again?
What do you do? Where are you from? And what do you want to achieve in 2021?
Okay. I'm a quality assurance specialist in Hitachi EB Works. I'm from Klang, and what I want to achieve in 2021 is hopefully continue to stay alive. Yeah.
And pick someone to go next.
Oh, who hasn't gone yet? Yeah.
Daniel and Aaron Ko, I think, and Black Hawk.
Black Hawk. Wow, who is that? Okay, Black Hawk.
Okay, I'm Black Hawk. Okay, my name is Sufang. Okay, so I'm actually working in the IT company. I'm a system engineer. So for this year, one thing that I would like to achieve is to be skillful in what I'm doing. Yeah, actually, right now just have something in my mind that I hope that by the end of this year I will be a specialist at least in what I'm really doing, so that I can give some advice if people need it in my field. Okay, so that's about me. The next one I will call for Daniel.
Hi, Daniel here. Okay, my name is Daniel. Graduate in engineering, electrical and electronics EE. Worked in manufacturing with Ericsson Mobile in Shah Alam, and went to banking after that as not banker, but as a like internal consultant, process engineering, cost saving, everything, something like I moved to Australia for 2 years for my PR. Also applied to Switzerland to visit the business process. I got the job in business process. Then I came back to Malaysia, and then now I'm in real estate. Yeah, sales. Why it gives me a little bit of time to do other things. Yeah. Besides full-time bank job lah.
Nice. And what do you want to achieve for the year, Daniel?
Looking at helping some NGOs or some groups to maybe on their technical areas, maybe like internet, Wi-Fi, laptop stuff, or their education. It's going to be very high tech. It can be also what's available and just retrofitting it to their needs. People talk about, I need an iPad, or I need a tablet. But I think you could actually, you're thinking about along the way, actually you could buy a portable screen or a monitor and just plug in Android box or even Android HDMI, and you're good to go. You've got YouTube there, all whatever Android apps to some extent, for education purposes. Yeah, you don't need to buy a tablet, Yeah, but of course, cost to them is a lot like internet-wise. I think a lot of NGOs or those Myanmar and all those things, internet cost a lot like wireless.
Yeah.
Data
Cool.
yeah.
Cool. And I think we have just two more friends here, Aaron and Iwai Tang. To go next.
Who? Aaron and?
Miss Tang. Mr. Tang? Sorry. Iwai Tang.
Okay, let's go with Aaron. Which Aaron? Yeah. Oh.
Okay, me. Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm part-time in Taylor and also studying visual communication now. What I want to achieve in 2021 would be creating 3D characters. Yeah.
Cool. So the last person to introduce is PY Tang. Hi, PY Tang. Hello, Mr. Hey bro, hey sis. I don't know what's the...
PY Tang. I don't know. I think maybe he or she is not able to hear. So.
Yeah. All right, no worries. Let's proceed lah for the time being. Okay, so for today's first meetup, what we want to do is try to keep it light. Start off with a bit of what is FaithTech, what we are doing, what we have done, and what we hope to achieve, specifically in the context of Malaysia with FaithTech KL. And then we have a sharing session from a speaker who is sitting among us, and later I'll introduce you, surprise mystery. It'll be a very short sharing, and then we'll have a discussion session afterwards, followed by free and easy, and then leave as at whatever time you want lah. Cool. So to kick it off, I just wanted to share on what FaithTech is generally, because I think some of us you already know what it is. FaithTech is a global community with a mission to bridge faith and technology. It's pretty straightforward. And we just set up the Malaysian presence a couple of months ago. So prior to this, there was FaithTech in US, Thailand, and different parts of the world, but nothing really in Malaysia. And so now we have FaithTech KL, the FaithTech KL chapter. And what we hope to achieve here is to bring essentially two things. One is awareness, the other thing is an action plan. Awareness as in getting people in this country to know what we are doing, what is our goal, what we're trying to achieve, and then getting people to act on those goals. Because the reality is when we look at faith, right, the church works, the ministry, I think we can agree that everything seems to be on an older set of infrastructure. Everything is being run on an older set of systems and processes. So the whole world is moving forward in terms of technology. But in this space, the kingdom works, right? The church works. We're still using pretty old methodologies. And I can speak out of experience as well, because I used to work as a youth pastor. I was serving full time as a youth pastor at some point of my life. And I knew the level of challenges that we were facing to run, to do ministry because of the processes that were pretty outdated. I'll give you a simple example, right? Like when we talk about helping, through the ministry, you have an outreach arm. We don't really know how to engage with the people in the community, because the people in the community are on a platform that we're not on. Right, so everybody is on social media or conversing on different platforms, and we are trying to attract them or engage them on a different platform. So there are so much of challenges that the church generally faces, but maybe that we don't know that we are actually having a challenge because we didn't see the better way of doing things. We were not exposed to that. There are many explanations and many reasons. But the point is this: FaithTech KL is existing because we want to partner with ministries. We want to help kingdom builders. We want to help the churches to not just be sustainable with church works, but to also be scalable in terms of outreach and building the church forward. So we want to bring together our talents and our skills and contribute them towards building the church, right? Like I'm an engineer by background, and I was a youth pastor for some time. And I remember feeling pretty obsolete at times, like, I don't think I have anything else to offer. My engineering skills here or my technical skills don't seem to have a real place in the ministry, right? And that made me think, right, like, so how many of us out there go to church on a weekly basis feeling that we have nothing to offer? You pick up a form in a church that says you want to sign up as a volunteer. You pick up that form and you see a lot of things listed there, backup singing, bass guitar, PA system, but you won't see things like DevOps, you won't see things like app developers or whatever. There are a set of things that you just don't see. The question is why? Aren't these skills and talents that are given by God for the kingdom of God? So why have we come to arrive to a place where these set of skills are no longer needed, right? So we want to revive them back. We want to engage this community and get them together and say, hey, you know what? Let's pool together our strengths, pool together our resources, and let's build the church together. And that's what we're trying to do. And building upon that, today being the first session of the year, I thought that if we keep this community purely within the tech community of Christians, then we'll just be going around talking about solutions without a proper understanding of problems. Right? It's easy to come up with a solution, assuming that it is solving a problem that we think is there. But we're not the ones who are actually facing the problems. Not all of us are. So that's why Nicholas and I, when we work on building FaithTech community in KL, we are intentionally making this open to everyone, even if you're not from a tech background, even if you're not an engineer, you're welcome. As long as you share the vision of bridging faith and technology, or faith and engineering, and faith or any other skill sets, you're more than welcome to participate in this discourse and build things forward. So because that was the way we set it up in the beginning, today we have a community of not just engineers and developers, but we also have community builders. We have people from the arts background, we have doodlers, we have graphic designers, we have a professional cartoonist. Look, you're a cartoonist, right? Or you're an artist. And we also have pastors in this among us today, actual church ministers. And so that's what creates the balance, because we can validate something by having that communication with the people who are actually going through the challenges, and they can validate the solution, and it can go both ways. So rather than continuing as purely a discussion every month and then going nowhere, we can actually come to a point of like, all right, this is the problem, this could be the solution, let's build on it. So that's what we want to do. So as the first meetup, our first speaker for the year is someone who serves full-time in the ministry. And I would like to do a very quick introduction. Actually introduced himself earlier already. It's Pastor Phineas Matthews. I know him as the youngest reverend in the Assemblies of God, I think, in the history of the Assemblies of God. I've known him for years. He knows, he serves wholeheartedly in piping. His theological education was in Australia. He served in Australia for a long time. And then the Lord called him back to his hometown, and he serves diligently there. I've been to his church. I've seen the work that he and his church does. So I thought it will be great to start off the year by hearing the perspective of someone in there, and then highlighting some of the challenges that the church faces. And then we can build on that in terms of discussing how can we come together to contribute to the church in general. So let's welcome Pastor Phineas Matthews to share.
Thank you, Mr. Arun, for the opportunity. Greetings to all of you. As Arun was alluding to earlier, my name is Phineas, and obviously my background in ministry is pretty diverse. As also mentioned earlier, my work comprises basically in the local church over in the vicinity I'm from, which is Taipei.
Also specialized in
but because I also work in the district, it's also in the northern region of the Assemblies of God. So definitely, I am, if I may say so, qualified to highlight some of the troubles that many of the faith community is facing, especially the ones in the church itself. I'll just talk, from the heart in regards to some of the things that I've observed from the first time we had our KMCO and the second time there's a declaration of KMCO again, as seen, earlier this week. First first of all, when it first came about, it was in, I believe, was the month of March or end of March. And I noticed that, when there was a declaration of CMCO, a lot of the churches, all over the place, we were like scrambling, to basically come up with a way to do online service because it caught us unaware. Unlike many churches, not all of us are well equipped, to have online service. And so it was a more like clutching straws, just struggling to find a way to do things, live stream, Zoom services, whatever it is. And as soon as we got a hang of those, as soon as that was done, I noticed that CMCO was declared, over, we can do physical services again. And many pastors realized very quickly that there was a real problem in engagement. And let me explain why. Because, when physical service came about again, we noticed that the attendance have dropped. You see, people have got used to the convenience of, watching services at home. And for whatever reasons or other, that became a part of their routine. Instead of perhaps coming to a physical service, it's very convenient to do a recorded session or even to watch, various services through, various platforms. And so that was one of the reasons why, it became a bit of a challenge. I will also say, however, that as soon as the second STMCO was declared, there was a drop in, and I'm talking all throughout, because I have the statistics for that, all throughout the churches in Malaysia and also in the northern region where I come from, a drop in those tuning in, even for the online services. So for the first time, maybe they were curious, maybe they were still faithful, churchgoers, they still want to see what their home church is doing. The second time around, less and even less. So maybe there are reasons for that, because people got a hang of online services. Maybe there's because they have an opportunity to watch all other online services. Maybe it's also because they know there's somehow they can watch recorded sessions, so they don't need to tune in for live sessions anymore. And so these are the things that I've noticed occurred during the CMCO and whatnot. Another thing that also transpired, sadly, because many churches, we thrive on benevolent giving. And so, and that is seen through tithes and offerings and things of that sort. So because of the online services, there was a drastic drop all across Malaysia in terms of giving. Not many churches actually maintain, 90% tithe giving, or if I may say so, benevolent giving. Some churches went into deficit as well. So by the turn of the end of 2020, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I can't speak, for everyone else, but I can always speak for my church, that we already had a deficit, of several $1,000s. So, obviously it's a challenge, that needs to be overcome. I do believe that this is FaithTech community, and you guys can probably come up with a better, way for us as pastors or even leaders to engage with our flock, and our own community as well, local church community. Arun, that's you.
Thank you, Pastor Phineas. So just to understand better what you were mentioning, essentially it's the challenge is about the lack of engagement or a struggle with engaging your church community. And then the other one was when it comes to giving, was it?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so let's keep this as a discussion format, and just feel free to ask questions to Pastor Phineas. Or just ask general questions or share thoughts, share solutions. Maybe your churches are experiencing the same thing, or if your church has discovered a way to engage, and maybe you can share that so that we can all learn.
Yeah, I would just give you a thought. Maybe I do not know, but I think churches should really have an online strategy to handle situations like this. I mean, two years ago, back in 2017, there was this thing called the run up to the general election at that time, and things were very hairy at that time as well. So I was going around and I'm saying, oh, you all should have an online strategy just in case in the future it is illegal to go to church. They all laughed at me, but look at what happened now. So it to me it feels okay, because there are a few churches that already came up with their online strategy. One of them is like Collective Church, Collective Central. They last year or the year before, like way before this happened, 2019, 2018, they had a meeting and they decided at that time they will be focusing a bit more on their online efforts to have that as a conduit to bring people into the physical church. So when the MCO hit, the first wave of COVID and all those stuff, they were already used to it and they just carried on. So although they had to work a little bit harder to get the younger engagement that you said. So what they had for, like, say, tithes and offerings, they set up several accounts like e-wallets and then QR codes, and then they had a social media strategy also to kind of like put things out there, Instagram stories, all those stuff, to get people to tune in, listen. They even have a meet and greet via Zoom after their services, which are pre-recorded and premiered on YouTube. So they do it very smoothly that way. So yeah, that's one strategy. And there's another software that was also created in the FaithTech community. I can't remember what was that, but it just got released. Essentially, it allows you to run church like as though it's a physical church, but it's actually a virtual church. I'll need to search for that again. Yeah, when I get it, I'll show it here.
Well, I just have a thought leading to Pastor Senior's questions. I will put it this way. The question is this: most of these people, the job I personally in a more older church compared to the younger church, like those below 40s. I guess they have no problem adapting to online. As I mean, most of them just their work is still the same. You need to do online. But it's more to the older community, older generations, which have problems. My parents, although they do attend, my parents attend Kingdom City, but they do struggle. I find it they still do struggle connecting in, regardless of churches. They ask like questions after questions, and I guess some of the younger generation would not answer all these questions, so patiently. I don't know, this is just a thought, but because my parents ask me, ask my brother, ask my sister, although it's the same question over and over again until they get it on. That is the first problem that I see. And secondly, they are not digital savvy, so they don't know how to do even basic bank transfer. Some of them do not do bank transfer. How do we collect funds at this point of time? That is the second thing. The third thing is this: most churches, the smaller churches, I talked to some of the smaller churches. They still want to look nice, I wouldn't put praise and worship all this as smoke and mirrors, but I feel that God has already removed all this and we are back to the very, very basic of church. In the days of this is like very basic church. There is no, light, sound, and the glamorous sensation that, because of course, I cannot wrong that this is not right, but I still find some of them, after talking to them, they still want, can I do this, can I do that, and things like that. I say, church is just you take a webcam, put in front of a camera and start preaching. That is church. Or you praise and worship one guitar and just start doing what you need to do. You need not to very, how is it? Because God works not in a confined space. Even digital, you can still lead people to Christ. That is the third thought that I have. So, leave it to Arun.
Don't worry, I'm just moderating only. Like if more than 5 seconds get quiet, then only answer.
Yeah. I think I would like to respond to the guy who commented earlier. I think he is speaking from a context of maybe a younger integrated group of churches where the demographic, maybe the age demographic is young, more like the young church. I think for most of us, we actually pastor churches where people are actually way older. And so if that is the case, our own church members, they're not savvy, computer savvy. They don't even know how to do online banking, for crying out loud. So far be it from them to expect them to go on Instagram. So, my retort to that brother over there, I think it's a very narrow point of view to expect everyone to be, have perhaps an online strategy in terms of church planting or doing service, that way. I think it would be nice to see that. I think, but the ideal is definitely that, but most of us don't have the kind of resources for that. So, my dear brother, that's my retort to you.
All right. So I think if we just narrow it down into a more focused problem statement here, I think we are slowly unraveling a problem statement that we can solutionize, right? Because what Pastor Phineas was saying is, in general, there was these challenges, and then the discussion, we narrow it down to, okay, there are tools out there that can be used, like online banking and everything. But what Pastor Phineas was saying is very true. Like, if the generation of churchgoers are not tech savvy, then how do we engage them to even use these tools in the first place? So I think that itself is a problem statement, right? Like, sometimes it doesn't have to be a technical solution. Sometimes it's in some kind of an awareness solution. Like, how do we engage people to start using these kind of tools? Right. So just building on what is being discussed right now, has anyone else experienced something similar? And if yes, how did you or in your church solve this? Specifically to engaging demographics who are not tech savvy.
Yeah.
Embrace technology as a medium.
Yeah, actually, I was about to come to that. I actually had a kind of a part 2 after that. By the way, actually, I posted a link to the virtual online experience thing. I do know of another church, I think Renewal Lutheran. They do have an older demographic, so what they do offer besides the online banking is that they have their office open, or there's a post box at the church building. So if you need to give your tithes or offerings or check or whatever, you can still post it to the church or post it into the church building. You can still come to the building and post it there, but you're not allowed to hang around there because MCO and stuff. So that's probably one way of getting that. They will still have the message go out. Then it depends on the cell group members, connect group members to disseminate to the older demographic. Then they will kind of know where to go to and all.
Yep, David.
Okay. Yes. Okay. First off, there's two parts to it. One is to deal with the sort of like the younger generation one. One is sort of like the older generation one, right? Okay. So the younger generation one, I'm going to let's see whether I can send the link. Okay, I can. So the thing is, because I am a QA specialist, but then what I do during my free time is that I actually work with different NGOs and different churches as well to see how and what they need help. I mean, personally, I'm one person. I'm not like FaithTech and a group and a community where you all have manpower and all this kind of stuff. I just try and help wherever I can. So the link I sent, right, is by, I'm pretty sure everyone's a bit familiar with the YouVersion Bible app by Life Church. So that link, the Church Online platform, it is by Life Church. I'm not promoting anything. It's not a paid sponsorship, by the way. Everything in there is free, actually. So they actually have a platform for people to stream their services online or actually upload their videos online, and you have your ministry team on support and all this kind of stuff. So you can actually use that platform if you want, because I know of a church who is actually using that. I recommended that to as many as I can because it's free and it's super easy, and they have full-time staff on call support if you are not sure how to navigate the whole thing. Okay, so that is for a younger one. For older generation, which you're talking about, they're not sure how to actually log in and do all this kind of stuff, right? Okay, my suggestion, opinion, please don't attack me, I'm sorry. My opinion is that we try with whatever that's simple first and get that to work. If they are familiar with WhatsApp, we use WhatsApp call. If they are familiar with Skype, we use Skype call. If they are familiar with Zoom, use Zoom. Use whatever technology and tools that's available to actually gather them in one place. You can do one-on-one, you can do in a small group, you can do however you like it. Okay. I mean, that's all I have to say. I hope that helps though. If you have any questions, please do let me know.
Yeah, that's definitely true. We should actually start with all that. In fact, I think that's what Renewal Lutheran Church has been doing, because they realized that most of the older demographic, like most of our older demographic, they do have WhatsApp. So they do send some of their video snippets to WhatsApp, because they know that a lot of the older demographic, they do have WhatsApp now. So yeah, that's one way of reaching out and kind of covering a lot more base. But speaking of WhatsApp, by the way, they have already deferred indefinitely their privacy change, so I don't think you should have anything to worry about.
So just building on what David, you were saying, right, about doing whatever works to engage. If they are familiar with WhatsApp call, then just use WhatsApp call. So it's practical, right? But then just to scale this forward, if it's a small group, it sounds practical. If it's like a very small group, a smaller church, smaller demographic, smaller community. But just curious about anyone here who has the same problem in a larger community, a larger setup, then this would not work, because you can't scale it to a large community. So there has to be some kind of a structure in terms of how you're going to engage everyone, keep track, right? So just curious, anyone else had something similar, and is there any other ways that you use to engage? Joanne, since you are full-time in Kingdom City, just curious, maybe if you had a thought.
I have to say, just hearing the challenges that smaller churches have gone through, I really do feel, I mean, not to gloat or anything, but it is, I am fortunate that I belong to a very, very large global church. And even before MCO, we are already at the forefront of creative technology. So the church was always pushing creative tech as far as they can in terms of media and all that. So when it came to lockdown, it was actually quite seamless for us to go online within the same week. And we also have presence in Perth, so half our team is in Perth, half our team is in Malaysia. So as far as we couldn't do services, Perth could carry that weight. So we're very fortunate that way. But having said that, we also pivot very quickly in terms of how we engage people. So you're right, for the older community, it's very hard to reach them, and they probably felt very isolated from the church during this season. So what we started to do is really break down the small groups to even smaller groups, like even as small as 3 to 5 people. So used to be a connect leader would run a connect group for about 15 to 20 people. Now the small groups are like 5 people, so that it's a lot more personal. The touch points become a lot more frequent. We get a slightly older pastor to serve the older groups, and she has her own group of older people who also serve the older groups. So so there's that connection there. We are also fortunate that I think during this season, actually we did see our numbers grow. We did see engagement start to pick up, because I think we did have an online strategy very quickly. I would say the current issues we have, I feel, and something I'm trying to bring up to our senior pastors, is that while we have mapped the user journey for offline church so well, like from the time the person stepped into church all the way to getting them to be a volunteer, all those steps, we don't have that same journey mapped out for a person coming in on the online season. And we've seen so many people join our church that we haven't even met them face to face in the last 10 months. So the question, the challenge that we're trying to face now, or at least I have taken this challenge on, is how can I map that user journey completely online? So, in terms of giving, how can I make sure that they still, know about tithing, the principle of tithing, and how can I make tithing easy for them, but without paying a lot of commission to all the fees and all that, right? So, big church also have its challenges, just very different kind of challenges. It's these kind of challenges, but there are challenges as well. But the fortunate thing is we do have a strong team that can work through the challenges. Like we do have a tech person, for example, not as many as I wish we had, but just why in this community to tap on all your brains. But yeah, that's how we pivot in terms of the small groups, and also we still keep engagement at the forefront, using our volunteers to call other volunteers, and to call the community, what we call the community, people who are not volunteering but they're like on the they attend church but they're not really like massively involved. Those are the people that we are so afraid that would drop out of church. So we spend a lot more time engaging them this season. I hope that helps.
Oh, it is. It did. It's good. It's good to see. It's amazing. You from small you make it micro, and then you, as in smaller groups, right? Easier to manage. It's really cool. Does anyone else have any thoughts? Any other ways that you've been handling similar situations?
Yeah, actually, I have noticed another church in the USA called Elevation Church. They have got their online strategy to the T. What they have come up with is called e-group, which is online cell groups. And those e-groups, they host watch parties where they can get together at a certain place anywhere in the world to watch the service live from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I think that's a pretty good way of reaching out. Of course, the drawback is you don't get to see the people in person, but they kind of like make it seem as though they are there with them. So they follow up, they have follow-up emails, messages, Skype calls, Zoom calls, Zoom meetings with the volunteers, all those things.
So I think, just hearing from a lot of different perspectives, right? The problem is still the same, but what we do know is there are a ton of tools out there that can be used. I think the problem is not the availability of tools, if I'm trying to understand what we're discussing here, right? So it's not about there's no tools that we can use. The problem is getting people to, number one, know what are these tools, number two, how to use them, number three, be comfortable with using them. And I think that probably will be a more focused way of looking at what we can learn from one another. The tools are always out there. So like in the sense of what David was mentioning earlier, the emphasis was not in terms of what was the tool that was being used. It was just whatever works. If this person uses WhatsApp call, then I just engage with the person with WhatsApp call. So instead of having to tell person A, all right, you're going to now download this app and then use this app, and this is how we're going to be engaging you from today onwards. We just use what works, and that works in a certain setting. And then like what Joanne was mentioning in Kingdom City, they break it down to very, very small groups and then assign leaders to a very small community so they can contextualize engagement according to that small group. So I think that's what we really can learn from one another in terms of how everyone else is doing it. Because everyone, we kind of know what are the tools out there available. We know that Zoom works, Google Meet works, but it's the method, right? So just want to pick on Mark, not pick on you, but curious to hear how St. James handles this challenge, or even if you have a challenge like this in the first place.
I think for my church, I come from a very traditional church, from an Anglican church. But I think what helped is the one good decision that we took is in the year 2014, we bought a camera. It was the first time our church bought a camera to capture events and to upload it in Facebook. At first, the intention is just to have memories and start off the social media. So that was the year that we actually started Facebook, and then we also started YouTube. So we started off with just audio recording sermons on Sundays and Fridays, because the person who used to preach used to bring slides. So we used to put the slides and the audio together and then upload it as a video. But thank God we started then at least. So because now what happens is our pastor is quite tech savvy. So every Sunday we have people to go, since lockdown we have people to go to the church to help to record the sermon in the church sanctuary. And then my pastor himself uploads the video into YouTube. And even at one point he was doing it by himself without having any tech person to help. So being also not a very young church, basically my church is more on the older side. The young is very young. But doing this, I think it has helped, because one thing, I think because we started early, even though I will count it as late, 2014 only buying a camera. But I think we thank God and we are fortunate that at least we started. So every Sunday since lockdown now, we still have sermon stream online. And another thing that we have encouraged is for our younger people who have elderly parents to help them with the YouTube. At least teach them how to view in YouTube. So we're thankful that every Sunday now we have people tuning in from different places, and they still can follow the service. So I think that's how we are doing. And if I'm not mistaken, I think among all the Anglican churches or traditional churches, the church which is more advanced in technology, I think first is HTBB, if you would know them, Holy Trinity Bukit Bintang. And then second would be St. Mary's. So, and I think they started much more earlier. So the good thing is we learned from them and then we started somehow. But I'm also a bit sad and feel very unfortunate for churches who couldn't do that. Churches who couldn't even buy a DSLR camera, where now they struggle to just audio record pastor's sermon and then send it. There are some churches doing that. So that's a bit sad. So I really hope, whoever is hearing it now, or maybe you can share with somebody, now is the best moment for us all to learn and quickly pick it up. As much as the resources is there, to invest in it, and then to just go on with technology, I think it really helps. So I'm really thankful that 2014 we took a decision to buy the first DSLR camera for the church. So because of that, now we still have sermons going on every Sunday, just with the same camera. We don't have any other lightings or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Mark.
Can I just add something? I mean, to what Aaron earlier was saying, that church is really just somebody preaching, right? I mean, for a lot of these churches with maybe an older community, that is church, and I understand that. But like if you listen to Craig Rochelle, he always says the less resources you have, the more creative you become. So sometimes I think also, like when we have a lot, we think like they're at our disposal. But the truth is, because I used to run a startup, we generally can run out of cash before the next funding round comes in, right? And you have to be super creative with the little that you have and make that $1 matter and make that $1 stretch. So sometimes, it's like we all know, right? Even in these circumstances, it's really the opportunity. There's so much opportunity though, and especially since this is a room of creative tech people. There's definitely a lot of room to come up with new things. So yeah, just thought I'd add that in.
Can I say something? Is that right? Yeah, sorry, my it's not a laptop, it's a tablet kind of thing, so it doesn't show my whole face kind of thing. It's a fixed screen kind of thing, not flippable. I think for the connection wise, I mean, online is great, but we can't move away from the face-to-face now. It's really different face-to-face connection. So for example, if people are going to be away for a long time to a different location, different state or different country, they should find the church over there, right? I mean, to try to connect with the old church still by online and with cell, and then it's just not the same. You can't like, I need to talk to somebody. Can we like go to the coffee shop next door? Can you come to my house? I really need, the support is very different. It's not, you can't really move that support away from the actual physical. I mean, as Christians, if talking about moving online, I mean, I don't know what faith type, which area are you guys going to be focusing on? Right? If you guys are going to say, we're going to be the consultant or advisor to whatever issues you have, great. I think there's a few Christian IT groups around as well. One or two, maybe there's some Chinese one. There was Indigitus, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
They also do hackathons. I mean, it's great. You guys can work together. Depends on who has got different skill sets. Maybe yours integration, one's on the programming, one is something else, right? So
Sorry.
if we think that getting on board online is a problem for smaller churches and everything, I mean, you can just use an Android phone and then press the button and it goes Facebook Live. That's easy. Just need Wi-Fi and you're good to go. That's what a lot of people do it anyway. They're like selling baju lah. Yes, this one very lang, everything all in Facebook Live. Already doing that, no fancy camera. Okay, maybe the ring light that's what they add on. But cost-wise, I mean, the mobile phone is literally more expensive than some laptops. So it's pretty awesome already, But sometimes rural people, we hear people rural in Sabah, Sarawak don't even have internet. How they're going to go and do all those things? It's not a tech problem. Tech is very cheap, besides DSLR, DSLR is quite expensive. But you can get really lots of cheap stuff from China. Things which you never thought about. That can connect here, connect there, and then it becomes some different gadget. I was looking for a nursing home. They want to have a radio to play music in a room where the residents are staying. It can be Christian music, worship music, and everything. So they've been buying CD players, Panasonic CD players for 100 plus, so they can put the CD inside and play. So it's like, then the CD, if you play it too much, then the CD gets spoiled, right? So I was looking at USB options, and I came down to the point of 15 ringgit. Okay, 15 ringgit for a radio, which was USB port and one speaker. Of course, it doesn't sound very great lah, but I found another one which is like 35 ringgit, USB port. You can put all your business inside, plug it in, two speakers with Bluetooth. So even like if, let's say, the residents' children come and visit, or grandchildren come and visit Papa, they can always put their phone to connect with the Bluetooth with the radio, and can show the Papa the video of their birthday lah, whatever lah. This is nursing home scenario lah, I mean cost-wise and everything, 35 ringgit. Yeah.
Cool. Actually, Nicholas has been working on a system that is a lot in line with what you just said there. The sound of your love.
Yeah, I'm taking a back seat now because traction here locally is very slow. So Sound of Your Love basically connects the loved ones with those in the hospices or homes that are alone, and it was made specifically for the COVID-19 situation. So now it's picking up in the US and UK and Canada. But so it's a pretty good system where all they need is just a telephone. No need for internet. The internet part is only needed in the hospice, or even then also they can just use the telephone and play back through the telephone.
Okay. Whether there's a website or something that has some info regarding some of the products or some of the solutions available.
Yeah, just send the link here. Awesome. Does anyone else have anything else to share? Because I have an idea. We don't really have time to come up with a solution. But what we can do is share learnings and share ideas, and we can document them and sort of create some kind of a database where people can refer to get some insights on how others are doing it, and then think of maybe implementing something similar, sharing, contributing. So I created a spreadsheet. Let me just share that in this comment section. Hang on. So wait, let me change the setting to public. Why can't I make it public? Can you guys access it?
I'm not able.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Anyone with the link can. Okay, done. Can you try?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I think that could be a starting point to build on like a list of challenges, because sometimes we never understand the context of others, right? We tend to look at it from our perspective of our worldview, and then we think that these are problems that are known, and therefore these are the things that we need to solve. But someone else in some other place could be facing something that we never had to face, and our sharing on our learnings can help them. So it can serve as a good document for everyone to share. And then if something is tangible enough to be solved, then we have a community that we can just come together and pool together our resources and say, you know what, this seems to be a problem for a lot of people. Let's figure out how to solve this. And FaithTech exists for that as well, because we have the labs section, which incubates ideas into solutions. Sound of Your Love was one of those platforms. And so we're hoping that, we don't just remain as a community that talks about problems, but we actually work on solutions. any questions so far? So we hope to end by 9:30 and then have an additional 15 minutes for just socializing, and then you can drop off as you like. Any questions? Any thoughts? Questions.
Mr. Arun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is my perspective. Why is echo?
Sorry.
Go ahead, look.
I missed it.
What? Sorry, internet. Maybe I can help you observe and gather information. How most elder people in my community, they are really willing to use online program to the meaning relating to religion and everything. And then what I can see, the people, there is a way to communicate with them. It's not easy, but it's a skill you need to learn how to convince them. Yeah, that's my observation right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Lukman. Yeah, I think he kind of summed it up well as well. It's not so much of the availability of tools; it's about getting people to use the tools. It seems to be a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Yeah, awesome. So I think there's a lot of ideas that were spoken, a lot of thoughts, a lot of different perspectives. Please do take some time to just document them on that sheet that I just shared. And before we officially end for the evening, I'm sending also here in the comment section the link to our WhatsApp group. So we actually have a Slack channel. I don't know if everyone here is on Slack. So in the time being, before we go rail on Slack, we are using the WhatsApp group. Like, it's just easier for now. So please do join the WhatsApp group if you're not already in the WhatsApp group. It's mainly used for updates on the future events and some healthy discussions, that's all. So don't worry, we won't be spamming your inbox. Anybody got anything to ask, add, clarify, say before we close in prayer?
So if there's any questions we have, or somebody needs some support, we know of a particular pastor or church who needs some advice on what equipment or what software to use, who do we direct them to?
You can just, if you're in the WhatsApp group, you can just throw the person in the group.
Okay.
Or you can...
Is there someone's number I can pass them to? I can pass your number or someone's number to them or something?
You can pass my number, yeah.
Okay, great.
I will probably connect them to someone that I know. That's how it works, right?
But I think we do connect them to you, Arun. Maybe you can just put it in the WhatsApp group, so at least we know what are some of the things which are being asked around since we're sharing. There's this particular church, they're looking for this. We just put in there, but I will still give them your number unless they want to talk to you. I'll just put it in there for everyone's knowledge as well when what's happening.
And I think David earlier was mentioning that he serves to support churches in this area as well. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, David. David Sweet.
If you need help, I just try and see whatever that I have, because I've helped. Basically, my resources and what I normally do is I try and start with zero budget. So if you need resources on free platform where you can upload your audio files to, so that people can stream, even though if their phone is locked with the screen, they can still stream the audio. Is YouTube, because YouTube, if you lock your phone, the thing actually was playing. If you need those kind of platforms, you need video platforms, free video platforms, all this kind of stuff. I did like a ton of research before, because I helped build a lot of stuff from scratch with zero budget. So I try my level best to keep it at zero budget, especially when you're dealing with churches, NGO, and these kind of organizations.
And I can testify to David, he's still the zero budget material, he really builds stuff. I've seen him out. Not just software, hardware as well.
Yeah, so if y'all need any help, just let me know, and I'll try and see how I can actually hook you guys up with whatever that I know.
Yeah, good. David, do join the WhatsApp group. So if anyone with any requests, just drop in there, you can put it up there as well. All right. Any other questions? Anyone have anything to ask?
Can I ask one? Does anyone use it? I think it's called AirMax. It's basically to have a Wi-Fi, and it can support maybe 200, 300 devices, or they can even do building to building of Wi-Fi sharing, or network sharing. Not Wi-Fi lah, but LAN sharing from building to building in a short distance, maybe 1 kilometer away. So, AirMax.
Not heard of it, AirMax.
I heard of it. I'm using it. It's under Ubiquiti.
Yes, Ubiquiti, correct.
Yes.
Anyone used it before? Or?
I used it before for LOS, line of sight, point to point.
Okay, cool. And then, but they also have Wi-Fi stuff, right? From there, you connect the Ubiquiti there, and then it becomes like a Wi-Fi for like, how many kilometers is it? Past 1 kilometer too?
No, it depends on your hardware. You can go up to 5. My one, I purchased the cheapest one, so less than 1 km.
But everybody within 1 km can share the Wi-Fi.
No. Wi-Fi is still the same 2.4 and 5G. It's just that when you want to do point to point, then that one is further.
But Wi-Fi range itself?
Similar to any network. Yeah. The AirMax works for the AirMax.
So, I would suggest let's close in prayer officially, then carry on the discussions. Any volunteers to pray?
Let's pray. All right.
That was a piece of the Salasin.10 podcasterium. It is hoped that you have enjoyed it. If you have any issues, please feel free to leave a comment through any of the channels. That was a piece of the Salasin.10 podcasterium. It is hoped that you have enjoyed it. If you have any issues, please feel free to leave a comment through any of the channels.